Hey y'all, it's awesome to be doing another midweek devotional with you guys. I hope you're having a blessed week. I hope you've really been experiencing God throughout the week. And today I just want to share a short couple verses, and then just make an observation. So this verse comes from Micah chapter 7, verses 18 to 20. So it's towards the end of this letter, or this book that we have in the Old Testament, from one of the prophets, and something God revealed to him. And I just kind of love the ending, and I think it's something that can really help us in our here and now. So let's dive into it, and don't worry, the words will come up on the screen, and I'm reading from the ESV version, but here we go. Who is a God like you, pardoning iniquity and passing over transgressions for the remnant of his inheritance? He does not retain his anger forever, because he delights in steadfast love. He will again have compassion on us. He will tread our iniquities underfoot. You will cast all our sins into the depths of the sea. You will show faithfulness to Jacob and steadfast love to Abraham, as you have sworn to our fathers from the days of old. And I guess for me, I really love that verse and those couple of verses. So those are verses 18 to 20. But I love that ending of this book. I think it's beautiful, and I think it's something that we need to sit with more. Too often I hear about people messing up or doing something that doesn't spread the love of Christ. That disrupts that flow of God's love, which we call sinning. And they do something and they notice it, and then they turn back to God. And too often we struggle. We feel that God's sitting there disappointed at us, that he's judging us, that he's looking down on us. And I love how this verse really shows something different. It shows that we believe in a God that delights in steadfast love. He doesn't just remain in anger and sit there when we turn back, fuming at us. His steadfast love wraps us up. He has compassion on us. He's not disappointed in us. He's disappointed for us, for what we're having to go through, for the choices that we have made. But he's meeting us with his love and compassion. This couple of scriptures talk about how he casts all our sins into the depths of the sea. That means he doesn't keep holding on to what we did, what we could have done better. The minute we turn back to God, our sins are cast out to sea. The minute we ask for forgiveness. And too often we don't remember stuff like that. We tend to walk around like that sin is still attached to us, like God's still disappointed in us for that. But that's not the God we believe in. And the prophet's making it clear to the community of Israel and anyone who is going to read his book later on that that's not the God we believe in. We have a God who delights in steadfast love. So I want to encourage you with that today. I want you, regardless of where you're at, maybe what's going on in your life, I want you to, in those moments, when you come to God after we've done something that causes hurt and pain and disunity, and we commit a sin, which disrupts the flow of God's perfect love, I pray that when you come to God about it, when you seek him, that you'll try to remember he's not a God that looks disgusted at you when you turn to him. He's not a God who keeps pouring on his anger. He's a God who delights in steadfast love. And the God of the universe sits there with you, embracing you in his love and compassion. God doesn't look at you with disgust. And we need to remember that when we turn back to Christ, when we try to realign our lives to Christ. We need to remember that God isn't looking at us disgusted. He's looking at us with love and compassion that wraps us up. That if I'm sitting on a couch crying out my heart and pouring out my heart for something wrong that I've done, God's not standing there waving a finger. No, God's sitting next to me, wrapping me up in his love that surpasses all understanding. And I need to remember that in those moments. Because too often we just think God's disgusted, which continues to put us down, continues to trap us in whatever sin we're trying to work through, in whatever way we're trying to grow closer to Christ. And we need to remember that we follow a God that delights in steadfast love. So I really pray you remember that this week. I pray you remember that in the future. When something happens or you're going through something and you're turning to God after you've sinned and disrupted the flow of his love, I pray that you remember that God looks at you with compassion and you're embraced by steadfast love. And he does not look at you disgusted. May God's grace and peace be with you.